An Erie County house is a total loss after it's gutted by flames. And a new report says President Trump is being accused of discussing plans to overturn the election while he was still in office.
March for Life happened earlier this morning. We'll tell you all about it coming up.
In high definition from your news leader, this is 1024 Action News at 11.
New at 11, a busy night for rescue crews in Girard as a fire completely guts a house. Crews were called to a house on the 300 block of Templeton Avenue around 6 Saturday night. According to officials on scene, the blaze began in the kitchen and spread to the rest of the house. Firefighters had to evacuate the home because the flames were too intense. The house is considered a total loss. Everybody was able to get out safely and there were no injuries reported. Nearly 10 fire companies assisted in putting out the fire, with multiple tanker trucks dispatched because the fire hydrants were frozen. As the Senate prepares for former President Trump's second impeachment trial, the New York Times is reporting that Trump is being accused of discussing plans with Justice Department officials to overturn the election while he was still in office. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has the story.
The date of former President Trump's second impeachment trial is now set to begin the week of February 8th, more than a month after the violent attack on Capitol Hill.
We have to address that and make sure it never happens again.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi will send over the article of impeachment on Monday. According to the Constitution, the Senate trial will begin at 1 p.m. the next day. Senators will still be sworn in as jurors on Tuesday, but both sides will then have 2 weeks to prepare.
During that period, the Senate will continue to do other business for the American people, such as cabinet nominations and the COVID relief bill, which would provide relief for millions of Americans who are suffering during this pandemic.
And now Trump is reportedly being accused of discussing plans with Justice Department officials to overturn the election while he was still in office. In a stunning report by the New York Times, citing unnamed sources, Trump allegedly discussed removing Acting Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen in order to execute a plan to pressure Georgia officials to flip the state's presidential election results. The man who reportedly worked on the plan, lawyer Jeffrey Clark. The Times reporting Trump allegedly mulled over whether to fire the acting AG and replace him with Clark because Rosen refused Trump's request to carry out the alleged scheme. According to the Times, Trump decided against firing Rosen only after top Justice Department officials threatened mass resignations. Clark telling the Times their report contained inaccuracies and that all of his official communications were consistent with the law. Trump declined to comment, according to the report. The latest report could have an impact on the former president's upcoming impeachment trial. Both Rosen and Clark could be called as witnesses. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington, D.C.
The State Department of Health reporting 97 new positive cases today in Erie County. With today's numbers, the county has a total of 14,683 cases. The state is reporting an increase of 5,785 new cases. Since March of 2020, there have been nearly 800,000 cases of COVID-19 in the Commonwealth. An additional 205 people died from COVID-19 in the state, bringing that total to 20,526. Crawford County reporting 26 new cases. Warren County reports an increase of 12. Ashtabula County reporting 20 new cases. Chautauqua County, New York continues to report 6,018 total cases. Relief is coming to those who are unemployed. The Department of Labor and Industry announced this afternoon that payments for the Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation Program will resume the week of January 24th. You will receive an additional $300 per week. For more information on the program, you can visit our website, yourerie.com. The number of Americans unsure where their next meal will come from has soared during the pandemic. According to the Census Bureau's most recent household pulse survey, right now nearly 30 million Americans are considered food insecure. It's why Friday, President Biden signed an executive order to expand food stamp benefits to help the nation's poorest families. Raquel Martin has more from Washington.
This
This is one of just several actions President Biden has taken in his first few days in office. According to the president, this food stamp expansion would help an average family of 4 by giving them $100 more for groceries every 2 months.
1 in 4 households in the United States are experiencing food insecurity.
Dr. Lauren Bauer, an economist with the left-leaning Brookings Institute, says new action by President Biden will help millions of families struggling to put food on the table.
We have to act. We have to act now.
Friday, President Biden signed an executive order to expand access to food stamps.
They're barely hanging on.
Though Congress and the Trump administration boosted food stamp benefits for some recipients during the pandemic, they didn't include everyone. President Biden's order goes a step further by increasing payments for the nation's poorest families who were already receiving the maximum amount before the pandemic hit.
This is going to affect about 12 million people, and 5 million of those people are children.
The order also boosts EBT payments for families with school-aged children. But
Congress needs to get involved in it again.
Bauer says the increase doesn't last long.
That money's going to run out in June, and I don't think anyone thinks the economy is going to be in recovery in June.
President Biden is proposing a $1.9 trillion package to address the issue. But that plan is already facing pushback from Republicans, who oppose the high spending and some of the bill's provisions, like increasing the minimum wage to $15 and non-targeted stimulus checks. Now, no Republicans have explicitly come out against President Biden's food stamp expansion, but many have insisted that they believe the best way to help families is by reopening the economy as quickly as possible. For now, in Washington, Raquel Martin, back to you.
A big turnout in Perry Square this afternoon for the annual March for Life. Julia Hazel spoke with some of the demonstrators.
Well, we're here to show our support for the pro-life movement and bring more attention to the fact that every life matters, especially the unborn who are completely defenseless.
The People for Life Institute created this event to show difference in beliefs from the 1973 case of Roe versus Wade.
Well, this is the 40th anniversary of the Roe v. Wade decision, which happened on January 22nd, 1973, and we see that as a very good example of something that was done very undemocratically.
Roe versus Wade was a landmark decision from the United States Supreme Court that protects a woman's liberty to choose to have an abortion. People for Life explain that this is the gathering they look forward to every year.
And it's been an annual event. Last year we had an ice storm, and it was the first time we had to call it off. So after so many things being canceled this past year, I think people are ready to get out and express themselves.
This annual event allows for people to come together to support a cause they believe in.
And this is an important topic, and it's one of those topics that affects everyone in every part of our lives.
Julia Hazel, Jet 24 Action News.
Coming up, a familiar face on your television screen for decades has passed away. That's after a first look at Craig's forecast. Hey, Craig.
What a career he had. And what we're dealing with are still some rogue lake flakes out there tonight. Will they quit? I'll let you know. Coming up next.
From your news leader, you're watching Brian Wilk, meteorologist Craig Flint,